My name is Michael Elliott Wartswamp, and I'm testifying on the behalf of Jesus Christ. I am going to redo a video over the first video I ever did. It is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm redoing this video over because no one watches a video, even if it's about a testimony, about a vision, if it's really more than 20 minutes long, so I'm going to spit this out, and I'm going to redo this video. God anointed my life for dreams, visions, and revelations. When I was 19, I got a vision of an angel that came out of a lamp that was about the same size as this one. It came out of the light bulb of the lamp, and from that day forward, God anointed my life with dreams, visions, and revelations. So this is going to be a redo testimony about that because the first one was like 20 minutes long. Over. So when God started doing this with my life, I was 19. I was really down and out. I just got fired from George Webb's. This was April 23rd of 2009 at about 11 in the morning, and I was planning on killing myself. I wrote a ton of suicide letters, like on MySpace, to just end everything. All these like elaborate letters, about 6 or 7 of them to the closest people in my life. I put them publicly on MySpace because I didn't talk to them regularly, and I thought that they would just be up there forever. And I was writing poetry to God. I had great faith. And all of a sudden, the light bulb in the lamp started getting really bright and really dim right here. I was writing poetry to God. There's this poem that I was like writing to him, and the end was something like, God shoved me in a toilet and took a massive piece. Oh Lord, do something right and reimburse my pain. Just take this gift away from me, and I will prize again. But he had favor on my poetry. I didn't know that when I wrote this poem. But so I was writing these poems, and the light bulb kept getting really bright and really dim. At a desk in a basement, living with a regular that went to Webb's. I was living with him. He was like this military dude, lived with his family, military structure family. And I was in his basement while this happened at 11 in the morning. And the light bulb got real bright, real dim. And I thought it was something in the wiring, something wrong with the wiring or something at first. Being totally ignorant to getting visions and stuff. So I ignored it, and I'm doing poetry again. And seconds later, it started doing it again, getting really bright and really dim. The whole room, I can't believe how spiritually ignorant I was. The whole room got ridiculously bright from this light bulb because I was in a basement room. And it could get really dim, like to where it's just a little tiny bead of light inside of the light bulb, really bright and really dim. And feet away from me, all of a sudden, halo and all. I don't ever remember reading nothing about halos in the Bible, but halo and all. This golden ring at the top of the lamp just puffed out of the top of the lampshade, and about this far away from the golden ring ahead, it was an angel. It was an luminescent figure that ascended out of the lamp. It came together in pieces, which means when it would move around the room, parts of it would disappear for a second, but it was really bright, made out of divine light. If you see light from heaven, anything that's made out of divine light, angels, visions, it looks so much different than light on earth. Even sunlight looks ridiculously dirty. It looks like it's yellow light, like it's a butter teeth yellow light, and it's light from heaven is so bright and so clean. It looks like it's clear light. Like this light doesn't give off a color. It's just so clean. It looks clear. So the halo came out, and then the angel, it was about 7.5 feet tall, and for about 7 to 8 minutes it didn't even look right at me, like it was made of light. It didn't have a face. There was no detail in the face. It was just a silhouette of a being, an luminescent being that came together in pieces when it moved around the room, and it was beautiful. And it's going around the room, wings and everything, and it would get in like cannonball form and float over my bed to show me kind of that it could fly. And I back away in the computer chair is what I'm sitting in. I back away from it a little bit, and it's floating around the room, and I'm thinking, does it even know that I can see it right now? Like, I'm thinking thoughts like this. And I gained the courage to tell it, okay, I can't believe my mind is not popping and breaking right now with being able to even see you. So please, whatever you do, please don't talk to me. I remember things from the Bible and church way back in the day of like, when God talks, it sounds like waterfalls and lightning striking and a lion roaring all at once. So I'm like, please don't talk to me. I can't believe I'm not traumatized by seeing this. About 7 to 8 minutes later, it's floating around the room, and it's the whole silhouette of the angel focused on me. So it's floating around the room like back and forth. I can't. And then all of a sudden the whole silhouette comes and it directs itself right at me. And now this thing is like looking through my soul, so it's like super focused on me, and I got kind of like for about 2 to 3 seconds, and now I know what the Bible means when it says everything will be revealed in the blink of an eye. What it revealed to me with all these gifts, it revealed to me within a blink of an eye, and it revealed to me that it had always been with me. It was with me before birth. It was closer to me than even my mother was. That I had a purpose for my life. That God loved me. The Bible's real. Everything in the Bible's real. And so then I got all like super excited, and it filled me also with like ridiculous comfort of it. Like it was there to protect me. I wasn't afraid anymore. I felt like super intrigued, and I got right up out of the computer tray and I walked right up to it, and I'm talking to it and I'm looking up at it because it's so tall, and I said, I hope you really don't mind. I just really want to like try this. And in the middle of saying it, I stuck my hand right through the angel, thinking it might be kind of intrusive to it because I stuck my hand right through the stomach of it. And then I'm doing this, it's looking down at me. So you can tell in its body language, it's looking down right at me. And I'm looking at it as it's doing this. So we're like this close, it's looking at me, and I'm looking at it. It was my guardian angel, who happens to be, she looks like a 35-year-old African-American straight from Africa, Choco Black woman. That's a revelation alone. I should really talk about that. Being just like a 19-year-old white male, my guardian angel looks like she's from the 1950s, one of the women that would go with her big church hat, from really Choco Black women in the 1950s. She's totally Choco Black, like African style, not brown but black. She's really black. Shoulder length hair up to here, jet black, super beautiful skin. I'll tell you how I understand that in another testimony. But so I'm talking to it and I'm like asking all these questions that I don't really remember, but in a nutshell, she was floating around with me waiting for something, and I didn't know what that was. She's floating around the room, and I'm talking to her, and I start reading her this poetry I'm writing about God, and a lot of it's really bad. And then she I was sleeping in like a kind of, it was bigger than a full, it was about a full pull out bed from like a couch in my friend's basement, and she laid down on one side of the bed. I mean, she laid down on one side of the bed. Like she expected me to lay down next to her for some reason, just because she was waiting for something and I didn't know this. So I kind of discerned what she was doing. So I grab my folder of poetry and I run over to her and I jump on the bed really quick, super excited, on the other side where she's not. And I got wary, and I'm thinking, oh, like I was looking at her at that point as like kind of like an animal. Like maybe I don't want to scare it. I don't want to scare her, but she's like a her. But I just remember thinking that, and she's sitting down next to me, like laying down on one side, kind of like leaning up with her elbow on this side. So it's technically this elbow. And I go on the side of the bed, and I start reading her this poetry. God shoved me in a toilet and took a massive pee. So Lord, do something right and reimburse my pain. Just take this gift away from me, and I'll prize again. And I'm reading her this poetry, and then all of a sudden, she, at the speed of like quicker than I have seen her move the whole time, jets right back into the light bulb, into the lamp, and she looked like she was charging, and the light would get really bright and really dim, really bright and really dim. The light was getting so bright because I was in a basement room. The entire basement got, even though it was 11 o'clock in the morning, there's like no windows in the basement, and all the walls of the basement got really bright. And then I remember this part didn't happen when she first came out. It would get so dim, the light bulb, that it would be, you know how like when a light bulb's burning out or just turning on when it's really old, there will be a little speck of light about that big inside of the light bulb. That's how dim it would get. So it would get practically pitch dark in the basement besides this one little bead of light. Really bright, really dim. God sets this stuff up the way that he does on purpose. I don't know why, but it was perfect. And in this basement, it was kind of like a storage room that they were letting me use. So there was a mirror that was it was on its side, I'm assuming, but it was about this tall from the ground. So it was, I'd say, about 4 feet width, but it was on its side, and length, it was about 6 to 7 feet. and it was just leaning against this other storage stuff, and there was like a dresser in front of it, so I could only see about this length. I'm gonna say width was about I could only see about 4 feet of that, and it was protruding about 4 feet too from because there was a dresser in front of a big part of the mirror. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I see two little legs that disappeared up in utter darkness, blackness, from about the waist up. And the moment I noticed it, I get on the side of the pull-out bed, and I'm sitting on the side. I'm like legit a foot away from touching the mirror. I'm so close to it. And this thing starts walking up to me, and it's walking. The legs are so small that even from the distance it was from me, it was taking steps that were so tiny. This thing had to have been about 3 feet tall, probably smaller. And it's walking toward me. And the moment I noticed the legs, that was when my guardian angel, like, that was when she didn't fly into the lamp yet. That was when she flew back into the lamp. And she flew back into the lamp, started getting real bright, real dim, really quick. And I'm intrigued. I'm wondering what she's doing. And I mean, the lamp at this point, because this room was so crowded, there's the pull-out bed. The desk is in front of here. The lamp is right here, and the mirror is right here. So I could touch the lamp and the mirror in the position I was in at the time. She's right next to me, and it's getting really bright and really dim. And I'm looking deep into the mirror. Like, when you get a vision, if you see something in a reflection of a mirror, it looks like a reflection. When you get a vision, something supernatural, from a mirror, it doesn't look ever like a reflection. It looks like whatever you're getting a vision of in the mirror is inside, legit. Like it's a whole nother world, like the upside down, like Stranger Things. Like it's another world, like inside of the mirror. So she's getting really bright, really dim. And this thing is walking toward me. The legs were so small, and this thing was so far away that it took about 2 minutes for it to get within 2 feet away from me. This thing, the basement room was bigger, but this thing was so far away in the mirror that there was no possible way that even could have been a reflection because this thing was so far away inside of the mirror. And then I'm noticing the legs get closer and closer, noticing her, and I remember I look back and then I see this thing. I was so spiritually ignorant to visions that I thought this thing was another angel. I only believe in what I can see, and at this point I had only seen an angel like hours before then. By the way, this angel was with me for about 2.5 hours. This angel was with me before I even saw the legs. I get the vision of the angel. I'm wary in the computer chair for about 7 to 8 minutes, and then I was just with the angel for about 2.5 hours after that, before I saw the legs. And the angel's still with me at this point. And this thing, it looked like a man, but he looked decrepitly dirty, very malnourished. He looked like he was from like Saudi Arabia, but wearing, a forest green t-shirt, blue jeans, black shoes. His hair was black, it was longer, but it looked like it had been messed up on purpose and like set on top of his head like a messy bun. He looked like he was from like Saudi Arabia, like very pale though, like he was malnourished. He had some facial hair. But you know how a little person, like a dwarf, they look, I don't like the word, but midget, little people, how they don't look like abnormal. They just look like little people that have been proportioned in a different way. You know, they don't look abnormal. They just look like people that are shrunk down in a way where they're the same size and weight as people that are not little. Their bodies are just proportioned differently. That's why their butts are a little bit bigger and stuff. So this thing it looked like a monster because it was small. It looked just like a man, just like me. But if you were to shrink down, a man my size, just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and all of a sudden I'm 3 feet tall, I would look like a monster. Like I would look scary. Like same butt size, same head, not head size. Like even dwarves have the same size as a bigger person's head. But this thing had it was just like a full-grown man, just a smaller head, smaller shoulders, smaller, everything shrunk down. It's crazy. The way, if you were to see it, there's something different about this thing. It's like a monster, even though it looked just like a man. And at first, he was about 2 feet away from coming out of the mirror because he was inside of it. And he's looking at me like he can't see into my world right now. He's like looking for me, like he's looking for me, but he can't see me at all. And I'm legit 4 feet away from this thing, 4.5 feet away from it, it's inside of the mirror. It's about 2 feet away from coming out of the mirror. I'm about 1.5 feet away from the mirror. So I'm like 3.5 feet away from, I could have touched it if I could have reached into the mirror. and it's like looking for me, and it sees me. Like if I'm in the mirror and I'm this it was a demon. I thought it was another angel. I was so spiritually ignorant because that's all I had seen so far. It looks at me and it does this. It made this snarly, growly face like this. Like it was over exaggerated with wrath beyond measure. The facial expression it made, and it did this. Like I had done something wrong. Like it was mad and raged at me for something. And I look at it, and the moment it did that, I knew it wasn't an angel. And because I only believed in things I saw, and I saw this angel next to me, and I'm thinking, well, if angels are real, instantly I get the discernment. If angels are real, that means that demons have to be real too. It's like angels, in my mind at the time it was like angels can't exist unless demons exist too. And demons can't exist unless angels exist. And I know that this angel exists, and it's obvious it's an angel. It has a halo, it's got wings, it's made of light, and it's 7.5 feet tall. But this thing, I didn't know what a demon looked like at the time, being around them every day now at the point that I'm at. So, the moment it did that, the angel was hiding. I didn't know that at first. It was hiding in the lamp when it was getting really bright and really dim. And it's looking at me, and then this angel shoots out of the lamp at faster than I had seen it move yet, and it hits the ground next to me. There's a little space over here because it hits the ground, it flies out of the lamp, speed of light, hits the ground next to me, and I can tell by its posture that it was looking down at this demon with its body language. And the moment it did that, so now I'm inside of the mirror and I'm the demon, it does this. And it moved at the speed of light too. If you could die from fear, this demon would have died. It was so afraid of this angel. I've never ever in my life seen anything more afraid than that demon, and it's just so comforting to understand if you are on God's side, there's nothing in hell that can overpower even an angel, let alone God. This demon looked so terrified. It was like when it moved kind of like a creature, like a traumatized animal, like it moved. So I can't describe. If you would have to have seen it, the way that it moved so fast. I mean, all it did was this, but it was like, it moved so quick and it looked terrified. I don't remember it running away. I don't remember anything like that, but the angel stayed with me for a couple more minutes, and I was telling the angel beforehand, I don't have no reason to live. I don't know anybody on this planet. I'm only 19. I'm pure of heart. I know everything in the Bible's real now. I know I'm not going to kill myself now because I know that people go to hell if they die, I'm sure, if they kill themselves. And but please let me get hit by a car. Let it be spontaneous. Let it be long and painful. I don't care. Just let me die. I want to go to heaven. I want to go to where you guys are now. Just tell God that. I know angels are God's messengers. I was telling it stuff like that beforehand, and the angel sits next. I'm with the angel, and then my friend's mom, who I was staying with, heard me telling this angel that she obviously couldn't see, talking to the angel about taking my life away through the vents in the kitchen. So I hear a knock on the basement door to the room, and the angel sits next on the bed. So the room is smaller. So the bed, the part of the side of the bed where I ran around to lay next to the angel, reading the poetry, the door is like 3.5 to 4 feet away from that door on this side to where you actually go into the room. The angel sat on one side. My guardian angel sat on one side of the bed, right next to it, right next to the door. And they're knocking. He's like, "Hey, Mike, are you okay?" It was a cop. And I said, "Oh my gosh, they're not going to believe this." And I'm looking at the angel, and I roll over to the door, and I said, "Hold on 1 second." I put my finger up to the angel. I open the door, and the cop's standing there next to Jody, my friend's mom, who I was staying with. And he goes, "Hey, Mike, who are you talking to?" And I said, "It's an angel." And I cut off because the angel was gone. They were gone. This angel was with me for 3 hours and disappeared at the moment that I needed it most to clarify my entire experience. And so, yes, I look crazy, but God really is funny. He is so weird. If you get to know him, I am strangely close to the one true God. He's a joker, but he jokes in ways that are actually you would never ever expect. Not when it comes to things as serious, of the nature of me going to mental health. There's a cop at the door. I'm getting a vision of an angel, and God decides to make this joke at this. It wasn't a joke. It was part of his plan, but it's kind of just like a bonus to him getting to throw these jokes out there and have experiences with us. It's Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, when God really started forcing the devil upon my life so that I could understand him. I mean, one-on-one, not with things he does, not lying to our minds, paranoid schizophrenia, none of that. Where Satan has visited me one-on-one daily. God sent him to me last Thanksgiving. Satan, he was with me all Thanksgiving. I was gonna go to sleep. Demons forbid me to fall asleep because I'm a prophet, and prophets have prophetic dreams. So if I fall asleep sober for even seconds, I'll have a prophetic dream, and the devil knows it. And he woke me up last Thanksgiving by like grabbing me, saying, "By the blood of the Lamb." And he speaks from like another time. If you hear the voice of Satan, you know it. He sounds like he's from a whole nother time. I mean, like a time before Adam and Eve, which he technically was. He sounds like a demon, so like an evil god. He growls when he speaks naturally, like the way a cat. So he can speak in our language with our voice, but he growls, and he's supreme. Like Jesus said, he's the God of this world, and there's only one voice that has his accent. And he was making me. He had this power to make me reverse the prophetic, to just erase the prophetic dream that I just had while I was sleeping. But God told me, if you don't have a dream, vision, or revelation to talk about, at least talk about the experiences I've gone through with you. So I'll at least grant people faith. I am redoing this video because it was way longer before, and I'm about to cut this off so that people might actually watch this video. But remember, it's not like you're sleeping when you die. It's not like you're sleeping when your heart stops beating. Repentance is key to being a Christian. If you go out of your way to get to know God, he will go out of his way to prove to you how much he's been with you his whole life. I thought it was sentimental to make something today because it is Thanksgiving, and God does visit me on holidays now. The Bible says, if your mother and father forsake you, God will come down from heaven and adopt you as his own child into his own family. And he's really been proving that. I mean, he's proven it a lot throughout the years at this point, like the last 5, 6, 7 years now. But remember, you don't want to like miss out on the reason that you were put here, and which is really to get to know the God that created you and everything on the planet. So remember, repentance is key to being a Christian. God loves you perfectly. The devil hates you perfectly. Hell is real, and it is not like you're sleeping when you die. It is not like you're sleeping when your heart stops beating. God bless.